In the heart of Kenya, where the Great Rift Valley splits the land like a deep, ancient wound, lies the vast and breathtaking territory of the Maasai. The Maasai, with their rich cultural heritage, have lived harmoniously with nature for centuries, their lives intertwined with the land, the wildlife, and the traditions passed down through generations. They are a proud and resilient people, known for their bravery, their vibrant red shukas, and their deep-rooted connection to their ancestors. In a small village named Enkare Ng'iro, which means place of cool water, nestled between the rolling hills and the expansive savanna, a story of betrayal and intrigue unfolds. This is a tale that would shake the very foundations of the Maasai way of life, a story that would test the bonds of family and friendship, and reveal the dark shadows that sometimes lurk behind the brightest smiles. The sun was setting over the Rift Valley, casting a golden glow over the land. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the rhythmic beating of drums as the village of Enkare Ng'iro prepared for a grand celebration. The Moran, the young warriors of the Maasai, had returned from their first lion hunt, a rite of passage that marked their transition into adulthood. Lemayian, the son of the chief, stood tall and proud among his peers. His spear still bore the blood of the lion he had slain, a testament to his bravery and skill. He was admired by many, not just for his prowess as a warrior, but also for his wisdom and kindness. His father, Chief Setatai, looked on with pride, knowing that Lemayian would one day lead their people. Among the celebrants was Napanoi, Lemayian's childhood friend. She was beautiful, with eyes that sparkled like the stars and a smile that could melt the hardest of hearts. She had always been close to Lemayian, their bond unbreakable. But tonight, as she watched him dance around the fire, she felt a pang of something she couldn't quite place. Jealousy? Longing? She quickly dismissed the thought and joined in the festivities, her laughter mingling with the others. As the night grew darker, and the celebration more intense, an old woman named Nace Ryan sat quietly at the edge of the gathering. She was the village seer, known for her visions and her cryptic warnings. Her eyes, clouded with age, seemed to see beyond the present, into a future that only she could glimpse. She watched the young warriors with a sense of foreboding, her fingers tracing the lines of an ancient talisman she wore around her neck. The following morning, the village was abuzz with excitement. The elders had gathered in the chief's hut, where important decisions were made, and matters of great consequence were discussed. Chief Setatai, a tall and imposing figure, stood at the center, his gaze stern and contemplative. Lemayian, he began, his voice resonating with authority, you have proven yourself as a warrior. It is time you took on more responsibility within our community. Lemayian bowed his head in respect. I am ready, father. The chief nodded. There is a matter that requires your attention. We have received reports of cattle being stolen from our grazing lands. This is a serious issue, as our cattle are our lifeblood. You must lead a group to investigate and put an end to these thefts. Lemayian's eyes flashed with determination. I will not fail you, father. As he prepared to leave, Napanoi approached him. Be careful, Lemayian. There are whispers of something darker at play. Lemayian smiled reassuringly. Do not worry, Napanoi. I will be back before you know it. The journey to the grazing lands was long and arduous. Lemayian and his group of warriors traveled through dense forests and across vast plains, their eyes constantly scanning for any signs of danger. As they neared their destination, they came across a group of Maasai men, led by a warrior named Olika. Olika was known for his cunning and ruthlessness, and his presence here was unexpected. What brings you here, Lemayian? Olika asked, his voice dripping with suspicion. We are investigating the theft of our cattle, Lemayian replied, his hand tightening around his spear. Olika smirked. You think I am responsible? We are not accusing anyone yet, Lemayian said carefully. But we will find out who is behind this. As they continued their investigation, it became clear that something was not right. The trail of the stolen cattle led them to a narrow ravine, where they were suddenly ambushed by a group of armed men. Lemayian and his warriors fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and overpowered. In the chaos, Lemayian was struck on the head and fell unconscious. When he awoke, he found himself bound and surrounded by strangers. Among them was Ulika, his eyes gleaming with malice. "You are a fool, Lemayian," Ulika sneered. "Did you really think you could stop me?" Lemayian's heart sank as he realized the extent of the betrayal. Ulika had been behind the thefts all along, working with outsiders to weaken the village and seize control. Days turned into weeks, and Lemayian remained a prisoner. His thoughts were consumed with finding a way to escape and warn his people. He knew that time was running out, and that Ulika's plan would soon come to fruition. One night, as the camp was shrouded in darkness, Lemayian managed to free himself from his bonds. He moved stealthily through the camp, avoiding the guards, and made his way to the edge of the ravine. Just as he was about to climb out, he heard a familiar voice. "Lemayian." He turned to see Napanoi, her eyes wide with fear and relief. She had followed him, determined to help him escape. "Napanoi, you shouldn't be here," Lemayian whispered urgently. "I couldn't let you face this alone," she replied. "We need to get back to the village and warn everyone." Together, they made their way back to Enkare Ng'iro, their journey fraught with danger and close calls. When they finally arrived, they found the village in disarray. Ulika's men had already begun their attack, and the villagers were struggling to defend themselves. With Lemayian's return, the tide of the battle began to turn. He rallied the warriors and led a counter-attack against Ulika's forces. The fight was fierce, but Lemayian's leadership and the bravery of the villagers prevailed. As the dust settled, Ulika was captured and brought before Chief Setatai. His eyes blazed with defiance, even in defeat. "Why, Ulika?" Chief Setatai demanded. "Why betray your own people?" Ulika laughed bitterly. "You are blind, Setatai. The world is changing, and the Maasai must change with it. I did what I had to do to ensure our survival." "You did this for power, not for survival," Lemayian said coldly. "You put your own ambitions above the well-being of our people." Ulika's eyes narrowed. "And what will you do now, Lemayian? Will you kill me and become just like me?" Lemayian hesitated, the weight of the decision heavy on his shoulders. He knew that justice had to be served, but he also understood the need for mercy. In the aftermath of the battle, the village slowly began to rebuild. Lemayian was hailed as a hero, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was still amiss. He spent long hours speaking with Ryan, the seer, hoping to find some clarity. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Ryan's eyes suddenly went wide. "I see a shadow, Lemayian. A shadow that threatens to consume everything we hold dear." Before he could ask her to explain, a messenger arrived with urgent news. A neighboring tribe, the Kikuyu, had discovered a plot to sell Maasai land to foreign developers. The deal had been orchestrated by none other than Ulika, who had been working with powerful interests outside the community. Lemayian knew he had to act quickly. With Napanoi by his side, he gathered a group of trusted warriors and set out to intercept the deal. They traveled through the night, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that the very land they called home was at risk. As they approached the meeting place, they were met with a shocking sight. Ulika was there, along with a group of armed men and a foreign businessman. But what stunned Lemayian the most was the presence of someone he had never expected to see, his own uncle, Matapato. Matapato had always been a respected elder, known for his wisdom and guidance. But now, as he stood beside Ulika, it became clear that he had been part of the conspiracy all along. "Lemayian," Matapato said, his voice filled with regret, "I never wanted it to come to this. But the world is changing, and we must adapt." "You betrayed us," Lemayian replied, his voice trembling with anger. "You betrayed our people, our land, everything we stand for." Matapato's eyes softened. "I did what I thought was best for our future. But I see now that I was wrong." Before Lemayian could respond, the situation erupted into chaos. Ulika, seeing his plans unraveling, ordered his men to attack. A fierce battle ensued, with Lemayian and his warriors fighting to protect their heritage. In the midst of the struggle, Lemayian faced off against Olika. Their fight was brutal, each blow a testament to their deep-seated hatred. In the end, Lemayian emerged victorious, but not without cost. He was wounded, and the pain was a stark reminder of the price of betrayal. With Olika defeated and the deal thwarted, Lemayian turned to Matapato. "What now, uncle? How can we ever trust again?" Matapato bowed his head in shame. "I will leave, Lemayian. I have no place here anymore. But remember this, trust is not easily broken, but it can be rebuilt. It will take time, but our people are strong." Months passed, and the village of Enkare Ng'iro slowly healed. Lemayian, now a respected leader, worked tirelessly to restore the trust and unity that had been shattered. Napanoi stood by his side, her unwavering support a beacon of hope. Chief Seditai, proud of his son, knew that the future of their people was in good hands. He could see the strength in Lemayian's eyes, the determination to protect their way of life. As the sun rose over the Rift Valley, casting its warm light over the land, Lemayian stood at the edge of the village, looking out over the horizon. He knew that challenges lay ahead, but he was ready to face them. And so, the story of betrayal and redemption came to an end. But in the hearts of the Maasai, the lessons learned would never be forgotten. For in the face of adversity, they had discovered the true meaning of unity and the enduring power of their heritage. As the village prepared for a new beginning, a messenger arrived with startling news. A powerful corporation had discovered vast reserves of valuable minerals beneath the Maasai land. The government was pushing for the Maasai to sell their ancestral land in exchange for promises of wealth and development.